Hello, this is Ms. Nichols, and this video is on taking any set of experimental data and creating a graph that has error bars on it. So we start off with our experimental data set, and you may remember doing this experiment on time until your birthday and your foot length. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide which are dependent, independent variables. So in this case, the thing that we sort of changed was the amount of days until birthday, and that will be X, which is my independent variable. And the thing that we measured is the foot length, which is going to go on the y-axis because that is my dependent variable. When we do our error analysis, we're going to focus on error for the dependent variable because that is what this program is set up to actually create an error bar for. So in any case, the first thing we're going to do is start to identify what sources of error we think there could be on those foot length measurements. So if you think about taking that meter stick and measuring the foot, what are some things that could have gone wrong that would have made the measurements of the foot not exactly equal to the exact length of the foot? So thing number one, maybe you realize that meter sticks aren't all the same. Some of them are a little bit longer and a little bit shorter. It's a science classroom, so that's not a lot of error. When I got out a couple meter sticks, I would say maybe that much difference, but it is still a source of error. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to estimate how much uncertainty does this error have on my measurements. How much would this screw up your measurements by? As I said, I got them out and it's a pretty small amount. So I'm going to say 0.1 centimeter of error based on the fact that the meter sticks aren't all the same. What's another source of error? Well, maybe you didn't start your measurement at the back of the foot. So maybe you accidentally, weren't perfect and careful about where you set up that meter stick. If that is the case, I would say that's likely a little bit more error than the meter stick. I would say probably about maybe 1 centimeter worth of error. So I'm going to put in 1 centimeter of estimated uncertainty based on where we started the meter stick on the foot. A third source of error that hopefully you would identify is the fact that some people wore shoes. If a person wore shoes, that's going to be a lot of estimated uncertainty because shoes have a lot of length. So I would say something like maybe 3 centimeters estimated uncertainty from the shoes. Okay, so once you have identified the sources of error and you've estimated the uncertainty, we're going to calculate what is the total uncertainty from all of the sources of error. You can write a little equation in your Google Sheets. Remember that equations all start with an equal sign. And you can say cell E2 plus E3 plus E4, that works. But there's also a little shortcut called sum, which basically adds up a range of cells. So I'm going to say sum and then parentheses, and I'm going to select all 3 of those cells, E2 through E4 or E2 colon E4. And then I'm going to close my parentheses and hit enter. And that will add up my total uncertainty, giving me a total uncertainty of 4.1 centimeters. So what that means is for each one of these foot length measurements, it's probably not exactly 29 centimeters or exactly 30 centimeters. I would say that 30 centimeters with an uncertainty of 4.1. So it could be 4.1 centimeters bigger than 30 or 4.1 centimeters smaller than 30, depending on how those errors kind of came into play. Okay, so now that we've got our estimated total uncertainty, we are going to go ahead and make our graph. Hopefully you remember how to do that. We're going to select our 2 columns of data that we're trying to graph, A and B, and we're going to say insert chart. Hopefully you get lucky like I did and it defaults to the right kind of chart, but you should double check to make sure your chart type is scatter chart. And you should make sure it has the right variables on each axis. So as we said, the time until birthday is independent. That's going on the x-axis. And the y-axis, my dependent variable, is my foot length. And that goes under the label series under setup. So that's what goes on the y-axis. From here, we're going to click into the Customize tab. And we're going to go into the Series pull down. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom of that where we want to do a couple things. The first thing, and this is the new thing, is we're going to now turn on what's called an error bar. Okay, so an error bar basically shows that 4.1 centimeters of uncertainty on each of my data points, because we're trying to say those data aren't right? The data is not right because we have this uncertainty on each measurement. So when you click on error bars, it puts up some default information, which we're going to change. The default type is %, and we don't want that ever in physics, because what that basically would mean is a person with short feet doesn't make as much error as a person with long feet, and that doesn't make any sense. So we want to change from type % to type constant, just using that drop-down menu. And then where it says value, that's where we type in our total estimated uncertainty that we just calculated a few minutes ago. So we figured out that we think it's 4.1 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 4.1 for the value of that constant error bar. And you'll now see that each of my data points has the data point, but it now has this little whisker that goes up 4.1 centimeters and goes down 4.1 centimeters, saying that we don't know exactly where the data really is, but we expect it to be somewhere within that range. The last thing you want to do is turn on your trend line. And remember, you can futz with the type of the trend line. But for this one, my data is pretty flat. I'm expecting a linear trend line, so linear is the right call for this one. And you know that you've done it right if your trend line now goes through almost all of your error bars. So we don't expect the trend line to go through the data points, but the trend line should go through almost all of the error bars. And we can see our trend line runs through almost all the error bars. There's a couple data points, this one up here, this one down here, and that one, that error bar doesn't quite hit the trend line. And so those are going to be known as outlier data points. But the vast majority of my data fits onto the trend line. So that tells me that, number one, I picked the right error bar. Because if I make my error bar a lot smaller, for example, 0.1 tiny error bars, right, then the trend line doesn't go through those error bars anymore. So the fact that the trend line goes through them tells me I made the right size error bars, give or take. It also tells me I used the right kind of trend line. It tells me the linear trend line is going to be a good choice here because it fits through pretty much all of my data points with the error bars. The last thing we're going to do after we turn on our trend line is we're going to go down to where it says label, and you're going to click on the drop-down menu there, and you're going to turn on use equation. Okay, so that equation label is going to really help us because remember that's in y equals mx plus b format. So that's the equation for the trend line, and we can learn a lot about this data set based on that equation. All right, so thanks for watching. Hopefully you're able to use this to make sense of any kind of experimental data that you might be generating.